Hello and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life. This is episode 66.
Welcome, guys. We've got a special episode today. It's coming up to our 1 year anniversary, so we've got our Finders episode coming out on Wednesday, where we have 3 of the amazing finders from our community on the podcast sharing their Finding Your Feet story. But we thought it'd be really nice if we did this episode today all about 1 year into podcasting, what have we learned? But this isn't just related to literally podcasting. I think just the journey of this process of starting a business, basically, starting a business with your friend, and all the learnings from that can be applied to anything. And I really think this episode will really inspire some of you guys to start going out and doing more of what you love. So really, really excited to have a chat and just have a little moment of reflection and express some gratitude as well for you guys for being here with us through this whole journey. This podcast would be nothing without the community that surrounds it. So we're excited to have a little nostalgic episode.
Yeah, I'm well excited to get into it. We've literally learned so much over the past year with the podcast and without. And as well, I feel like our listeners always learn and grow as well. So you'll be able to resonate with so many parts of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited to get into it.
We are. But before we get into it, we normally read out our Apple Podcast review of the week, but we've actually had a DM with some really nice feedback on our affirmation playlist. So if you aren't aware, we have a website, findingyourfeetpodcast.com, and on there we have a range of affirmations and meditations, all recorded by us, written by us, and like the affirmations and meditations are all themed. So you can have like body positivity, anxiety relief, self-belief, all that jazz, whatever you want to focus on. There's an affirmation or a meditation for just that. But this lovely lady sent us a really nice DM, Vicky, and she was giving us feedback on the career and self-belief affirmation because she had a job interview and she bought the career and self-belief affirmation playlist and played it all morning in the run-up to her job interview. And she said it made her feel really, really relaxed and really, really confident. And she ended up getting the job. So she said she was told that the position she applied for had 10 spots and 50 people were being interviewed. So that's quite big odds on you, or small odds on you getting it. But yeah, she got offered the job the same day, and that they said that she smashed it. So she just sent us a message to say thank you, and that recording really helped. Obviously, we're not the reason she got that job. She got the job out of her experience and her hard work. But I just thought it was really nice and wanted to share it with you guys because I think it just shows how powerful like meditations and affirmation playlists really are for just getting you into the vibe. Like that career and self-belief one, it's got a lot of power in it, and the music behind it is so relaxing, and the affirmations in it are very, very powerful, and they will make you feel more relaxed and confident. So if you want career and self-belief, obviously you go for that. But if you want anxiety, if you want body positivity, if you want money manifesting, whatever it is, all the affirmations are so powerful. They're going to get you into that exact zone. But congrats, Vicky, on your new job. Great news. And thank you so much for coming and messaging us feedback of how our affirmation plays impacted you, because that's what they're there for.
Yeah, exactly. Massive well done to you. And it's so true. I feel like it's all about, like, obviously everyone has it within them, but it's about aligning your energy. Like one that I really love of ours is the anxiety one. Because if I ever have one of those days where I think, why are my thoughts racing so much? I just feel a little bit anxious. I just put it on in the background and it really just aligns really my energy. Helps. Yeah, without even realizing. I'm like, oh my God, it just feels so much calmer.
It's so soothing. Like the words of it are exactly what you need to hear at that time. Like, and make you feel
it's like a
safe.
Friend, like
yes. It's like your own hype man, like for whatever it is that you need. That's what the affirmation playlist does. So yeah, just loved that example of how you can use them in your own life and how they can really positively impact you, because I think some people aren't aware of what they are and they don't understand how they actually can help you and how they actually work, and don't really realize the true power of them. But yeah, just thought that was a beautiful little story to share with you guys. But thank you so much, Vicky, for sending in that DM. We really appreciate you sharing the love.
So we've been having lots of epiphanies lately, reflecting on all the new things that we've learned this year and all the new things that we've tried, actually. And one new thing that I have tried and delved into is the world of therapy, which I am loving so far. That's why we're so happy that our podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's help, HELP. And their mission is to help you start living a happier life today.
Yes, BetterHelp is a professional, secure online counselling service, and it's available for clients all over the world. So wherever you are listening to this podcast right now, you can access BetterHelp services, and they will set you up with a therapist in under 48 hours. So no matter what it is that you want to work on, what you want to get out of therapy, if you're struggling with anxiety, depression, grief, OCD, anything, or you just feel blocked, you feel down, you just need somebody to talk to, you need some emotional support from a professional licensed therapist, BetterHelp is the perfect place to go because there's so many therapists on there with a huge range of expertise. There's somebody on there that can help you.
Yeah, exactly. They literally have something for everyone. And you can see the huge range of expertise they have because you can go online, fill in the questionnaire, get a better idea of what you're looking for. And then even if you are matched with a therapist and you think, actually, I'm not vibing with this person, I don't really feel like I'm getting out of it what I want, you can actually change and get a new therapist for free until you're happy, which I think is a really good benefit. And not only that, it is much more affordable than your traditional offline counselling.
Yes, and there's over 1 million people using BetterHelp today. You can go on there and check out the reviews at betterhelp.com/reviews to see what everybody else is saying. It's so easy to use. You don't even need to have a computer. You can just access it through an app on your phone. You just log into your account at any time, message your therapist, and you'll always receive a really quick response. And however you want to communicate with your therapist, if it's video calls, phone calls, emails, or through the chat box, whatever you feel comfortable with, that therapist will work around you, and you can have your therapy sessions through whatever mode you feel most comfortable with. And like Abby said, it's so much more affordable than traditional offline counselling. And BetterHelp are really kindly giving our listeners an extra 10% off their first month of therapy. So it's going to cost you normally about £50 a week for a session with BetterHelp. But if you use our discount, it's going to cost you about £40 a week. So if you want to take advantage of this offer, if you want to get this discount, if you're ready to level up, if you want to join Abby in the therapy journey, make healing cool, start working on yourself, take mental health to the next level, all you need to do is go to betterhelp.com/finding your feet. That's betterhelp.com/finding your feet. Click on that link. We've left it in the show notes. Click through there, fill out the questionnaire. You'll be set with a therapist in 2 days and you can be on your way with your therapy journey. But there's no shame in therapy. It's just like taking your mind to the gym, and you are so worth investing in the support if you need it.
Yeah, for sure. And if you have any questions when you begin or before you begin, just come and ask on Instagram, because we have quite a few people just asking us like, oh, I've just started, might be a bit apprehensive, but don't be shy. Just come and talk to us. We're very happy to answer any questions.
Yes, we are therapy advocates and we've both done it ourselves before. So if you're nervous, you're not sure if you want to take the next step and you just want to have a chat, ask some questions, you know where to find us at Find Your Feet Podcast on Instagram. But let's get into today's episode. So let's get into it. What have we learned 1 year into our podcasting journey? And everything that we're going to talk about today is not just relevant to podcasts only. Like these things we've realized can be applied to so many other parts of your life. And I think that will really inspire some of you guys to start following your hearts today and following what you're passionate about and turn it into, you know, a job. And so we'll start off with one of the huge things that I've realized from this year, and obviously working together with you, Abby, because we are a duo, is the power of united energies. Like when you mix your energy field with someone else on the level that we do, put the same amount of effort, passion behind something, you can go so much further. I think a lot of people want to have their success as theirs and win on their own. So they can be like, oh yeah, look at me, look at what. But actually, you can have success on your own. But when you join with somebody else and you get their skills combined with yours, that level of like accountability from the other person, another person to bounce ideas off, and just somebody who's like got your back. It's like when you're having a wobble, you're like, no, it's fine. Post that, say that, it's fine. Like whenever you doubt yourself, you've got somebody else there that's like going to catch you. You know, it's beautiful.
No, it is. I feel incredibly blessed that we are working on this together. And you know what's funny, as you were saying that, then I was thinking, you know, like when you're younger, I feel like, especially you as well, you and I did as well, like you have like that vision of having your own thing, and like probably we're going to have other things in the future, of course, but I never envisioned doing it with a friend.
Yeah, I know.
I could never imagine doing this on my own, ever. Like it works so well, the both of us, and as you just said, it's just having like someone to fall on, someone to big you up, and they're just united energies. Like we bounce ideas off one another, we're always there for each other. And not only that, like you guys know, we literally have so much fun. Like it's so fun. If anyone is like thinking about like a bit skeptical about starting something with a friend, obviously you take things into consideration, but definitely don't let what people say hold you back. So I feel like I've definitely heard in the past like, oh, be careful about that. Like, you know what I was saying before, don't mix business and pleasure.
Yeah.
Like we were friends before and it's like, oh, you're gonna like,
it's just going to make you fall out and you lose your friendship.
But that's just a limiting belief for like some people. So like never let that hold you back. Like I couldn't imagine not doing this.
Yeah, I know. And I think that if you're going to go into business with a friend, I think you know if it's going to end well or not. Like, because if you're not on the same page, you'll know in your gut whether if you're on the same page or not. And if you're not, then it might not end well. Like, because you need to both have the same vision, both have what you're doing at the heart of it all. Like me and you will never like have a huge raging argument about anything or like let things spiral out, like any tension rise or anything, because we both would never want anything to compromise our friendship, also to compromise the podcast. Like we've got to keep it together to keep it going. So you do need to be on this exact same page as the person you're starting with.
And I think, like you said, you know that, don't you?
Yeah, you know that. So like, you know, if you going into it and there's red flags and you think this isn't right, then it won't be right. But if you know, then you know. But obviously when we started, we did not think that this was going to become a business. Honestly started it just from like, we just loved self-development and we needed an outlet to use to say all of our stuff.
Yeah, literally. That is another one of the things we were going to talk about that we've learned this year, is to really not overthink things. Like I think it's so easy when you have like a business idea or something you want to do to overthink it. But I think the most beautiful thing about this podcast and the way it's grown is the fact that we didn't overthink it, and obviously we had a vision for the future. We had our affirmations from day one, what we wanted to achieve. But we never overthought it. We never thought, where are we going to be in a year, 6 months? We kind of just went for it, put our energy into it. And now I feel like we're in a really beautiful spot and it's just flourishing every day. But I think people can stand in the way, and I've done it before as well. Like you stand in your way, kind of planning out everything. Like, oh, I need a business plan. I need this, I need that, I need that. But sometimes actually just getting the ball rolling will help everything else come in. You know, like the magic of life, we always say.
Because honestly, like we couldn't have written a plan for what was going to happen.
No.
Like all these things, like having the website with all the meditation stuff on it, hosting the online workshops, that was never in our plan when we decided to start a podcast, but it just evolved that way. And I think that's what's really nice about just following your heart, like living from your heart and actually following what you're passionate about. I think so many people are like, don't follow what you're passionate, like following your passion, like it's a bullshit question. Like it's not practical, and it's like they just slag it off and say, oh, you should just do what you're good at in life and you'll become passionate about it. And yeah, you probably will, but also like you can be passionate about something and become good at that. Like we didn't know how to podcast.
No.
We didn't know what microphone to get, how to edit. You just learn. Like and and that's the other thing that we've really realised is everything is figure outable. Like there's nothing that you can't figure out. You can learn how to do anything. We have the internet, we have YouTube. You can learn literally, like we self-taught ourselves everything, all the video editing, like everything. It's fine. You can just learn.
Yeah, definitely.
There's nothing that you can't do. If you're passionate about something and you've never done it before and you don't know how to do it, you can just figure it out. There's no reason why you can't.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like with that as well, you have to think about back to whoever you look up to. Like, for example, when we started the podcast, we were always obsessed with podcasts and we were always like listening to them. But they had a day one too. Like everyone has a day one. So yeah, definitely if you're thinking of starting something new, don't let that limiting belief hold you back. Like, oh, like I've not done that before. Like don't put yourself in a box. We're always saying about that. Like break out of your box, because the more you tell yourself like, that's not my thing, you'll just live that out. But if you educate yourself, like say Google, courses, learning,
asking other people for help.
Yeah, people want to help.
Yeah, people that have already done what you're doing, like asking them. Like if you politely slide in someone's DMs on Instagram that does what you want to do and you ask them a question, like I'm sure they'd be happy to answer. Like we answer people's questions all the time that want to know things about starting a podcast. Like people are happy to help and you can always just ask. Yeah. But it's actually really easy to actually just figure out yourself as well. Like you actually don't even need to ask half the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, don't hold yourself back in that way. You are capable of absolutely anything.
Yes, you literally are. And that's the other thing that I've really realised is you are probably better than you think you will be at what it is that you want to do. And you should just believe in yourself more.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, I mean, we didn't go to podcast school. There isn't a podcast school. Like, you do like public speaking stuff when you're at school, but that's really the only experience you kind of get in it.
Yeah.
Or maybe at your job if it's required of you to do it there. But, you know, if you love something, you be good at it. And you're probably going to be better than what you think. So you should, I think, if you have that niggle to do something, if you've got like a drive, if you're really interested and passionate about something, then there's a reason why. Like, I love that quote, and I've got it on my own Instagram. That dream was planted in your heart for a reason. I'm not saying that we grew up thinking, oh, I'm going to be a podcaster one day. It was never really in a life plan, but it was just followed from like intuitive, like, let's just do this. Like, it'd be so fun. We'd love it. We can make it work. Let's try it. What have we got to lose? Absolutely nothing. Just got everything to gain. So if you've got a niggle about something that you want to do, there's a reason why you've got that niggle, and you can definitely do what it is that you want, like what that niggle is calling you, because it's in your soul, it's in your heart for a reason, because it's part of your purpose. Like, you're here to do it. So you will be able to do it, and you're probably going to be far better at it than you think you're going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So you just believe in yourself.
You just actually like sparked something within me that I thought as well. Like, we were just saying, like, you are going to be better than you think. And also to not like compare yourself too much to people and hold yourself back, like I just said, limiting beliefs. Because like now I'm actually reflecting. So like, say for example, when we started the podcast, I feel like obviously at the start, like you're a bit rusty with stuff. And I remember I got a bit frustrated at myself because I was like, you know, like I was looking at like people say that do podcasts that are really well spoken, and I was like, these people are so well spoken, they're so good at getting the words out. And sometimes like when I'm relaxed, like my accent gets in the way, or I trip on my words, and like sometimes things just don't come out the way. And I remember getting a bit frustrated at myself, thinking, oh my god, like not like is podcasting for me, but you can stand in your own way and think, oh, but like maybe I'm struggling to get my words out. But then I had to like really take it back and think that's just a limiting belief. I completely embrace me. Like, I don't care if I trip up on my words. I don't care if I say stuff in a dodgy accent sometimes and it goes on sound bites and it sounds really weird. I don't care, because that's just me. And like, people always resonate with your energy as well. Like, I feel like people resonate with us because they like the energy. They like that we're authentic. So it doesn't matter like who you are, just embrace the most authentic version of you, no matter what you want to do. Like, I'm not a natural born podcaster, but we love it.
Yeah, but do you know what that reminds me of as well? You know, our hero, Stephen Bartlett.
Oh, yeah.
He said that, I think he might have said it in his own podcast, that because obviously he is so well-spoken and like so powerful at speaking. Like, he's so good at it. And he said, and obviously he's been doing it for years, like not just podcasting, but like vlogs and everything for his personal brand, and speaking as well for the company he went around the world doing speaking events all the time. So you put in the hours to become the expert at it. Nobody's born an expert at anything. Like, you're not born like with a perfect talent at anything. You have to work up to it. And and he said that like the first video he did, he couldn't speak. Like, it was the first vlog or something for his brand, personal brand channel he had on YouTube. And he said that he went round to his friend's house, and by the time he'd finished the video, it was dark. He got there at the beginning of the day. It had taken that long to do like a YouTube video because he couldn't speak. He was tripping up on his words because you're not natural in front of the camera at first. Like, it takes time, takes practice. It was dark by the time the video ended because it took that long. And you'd look at him and you think he was a natural born speaker and that he's just amazing at it. And you know, you hear then you when you hear that people like that started like stumbling over the words and couldn't do it, you just like, you just realize everyone has had their day one. But like I said, that dream was planted in your heart for a reason. So whatever it is that you want to do, maybe it is a podcast or anything, like changing your career, starting a business in something, maybe starting a little Etsy shop or anything, it's there for a reason, and you are so capable of it, and you'll probably be better than you think. So you need to just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's really inspiring. And yeah, I know what you mean. When I heard that, when Steven said that, I was like, oh my God, that makes me feel so much better, because he is so good, isn't he? He's so good at speaking.
Yeah.
But that's what, as well, he said in a podcast that as you go through life, confidence is obviously built, and you're building it through case studies that you're proving to yourself. So like every time you do something, you think, I'm proud of myself, you're building that case study, you're building like your self-belief and your confidence that you can do it. So like if you don't take that first step and get out of your comfort zone and start building those case studies, then you're not going to have confidence because you're not proved anything to yourself. So you have to just start and push yourself out of your comfort zone and just prove to yourself that you can do it.
Yeah, I think sometimes people are really scared to take that first step, to step out of the comfort zone, to try something. I think that's when you have to pull on like affirmations and saying like, I can do this, or or whatever it is that you want to chant to yourself. I'm a wildly successful businesswoman. If you want to go into business or something, and you might think you sound like a weirdo saying all that, but your subconscious mind doesn't know what's the truth and what's a lie. So if you keep saying that to yourself, your subconscious mind's going to believe it, and then that's what drives your behavior, is your subconscious mind. So if you are saying to your subconscious mind, I am a wildly successful businesswoman, even though you haven't even got a business yet, but you want to start one, your subconscious mind will believe that. It will change your belief system to think that you are that, and then your behavior will follow. And because your subconscious mind drives your behavior. So if you're too scared to even take the first step, just start by telling yourself repeatedly that you can do it, even if you feel like a weirdo and you just feel like a fraud and like, what am I even saying? This is crazy. Keep doing it. And then that will give you the courage to take that first step, because not every people aren't always at that point to even take that first step to then get onto the part where you're building up the case studies of evidence for why you should feel confident in this and why you can do it. Sometimes it has to start with that belief, and maybe you have to tell yourself things that you're not actually there yet, but it doesn't. The same way people walk around thinking, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. That's not the truth. That's absolutely not the truth. Everyone's born worthy of everything, of unconditional love, everything. The same way you tell yourself that, and that's not fact, but you believe it, and you run around your whole life with that on repeat, driving all your behavior. You can tell yourself new belief systems that are empowering, positive, that will move you towards taking the first steps to start your goals. Because, with starting businesses, anything, you usually have to put yourself out there online and like promote your product and all things like that. It takes a bit of bravery, a bit of guts. So if you haven't even got that to take the first step, then it starts with the affirmations and addressing your belief systems. But we have your back, guys. We believe in you. We want you to all be following your dreams and doing what you love. So just go for it. And another thing I've really realized from doing this podcast, and this is what, and I went on the Instagram story the other day speaking about this, because I realized so I'd been listening to like Gary Vaynerchuk for years. Since I was like 17, I was listening to, like, following on Instagram, watching his videos, reading his books. And he is, someone who tells you to take risks, go for it. Stay consistent, keep doing what you want to do. Like, don't just, if you love something, like, do it. He's such a big pusher of that. So I'm really glad I was absorbing that at 17. That was what was sinking into my subconscious mind. It's definitely impacted me now and how I like view life and how I decide to make my decisions. But he said in one of his talks, if you love Smurfs, start fucking Smurfs blog. And like, I never forgot that, because I thought it was just such a weird thing to say, like, about Smurfs. But what the point he was trying to make was that whatever you're passionate about, we have the internet now. So if you love Smurfs, the internet connects you with the 7 billion other people that are on this planet. And if you love Smurfs, you start writing a Smurfs blog, you start a YouTube channel about Smurfs, a podcast about Smurfs, there is guaranteed people out the 7 billion other people on the planet that are connected to you through the internet that will also love Smurfs, that will love to connect with your blog or podcast or YouTube channel, Instagram page, whatever it is, that would love to consume your content, resonate with it, and share the same passion as you. I think some people think because they don't know anybody in their actually physical surrounding area, like their town they live in, the city they live in, they've never actually met anybody in person that's passionate about what they're passionate about. They think, oh, there's nobody out there that's going to there's no one out there with the same taste as me, that's not going to like my product or my blog or whatever it is that you want to start. But we're in the age of the internet now, and you have access to 7 billion other humans. Like, at least one of them is more than one is going to like what you like and will want to engage in your content, and they'll find your content. Like, people are drawn to what they resonate with. So as well, if that's holding you back, don't let it hold you back, because, and as well, like, there's more than enough for everyone to go around. Like, just if you think, oh, I want to start a podcast, but there's so many, there's always room for everyone. Because as long as you're being authentic, and doing what is unique for you, you're being original. So there isn't anybody else that's taken the space that you want, because no one can be you. So as long as you're being you, then there's space for you to attract your audience and thrive.
Yeah, that's so true. Exactly. I think as well, if you're unique to yourself and you're authentic to yourself and you're doing what you enjoy, like your Smurf is what you enjoy, then that's the goal, because then you're doing what you want to
exactly.
do. And that's what you want to do in life. You want to do what you want to do. There's no point actually achieving a load of success in something that doesn't actually resonate with you and you don't actually enjoy it. So you need to find what is your own Smurf box. Yeah, and just remembering that the universe is abundant and there is room out there for everyone. And as well, I feel like what holds a lot of people back, as you said just then, is that you sometimes think like, oh, should I start a podcast? Loads of people have done a podcast. Or should I start this brand? Loads of people have done this. But honestly, so many people stand in their way by thinking that. So then there's like this huge majority of people that all think, I'm not going to do that because they've started that. And then, so they're all like selling themselves short and thinking, I'm not going to do that. And there's just that odd few that think, actually, it's fine. I'm unique. I'm going to do my own thing. And then they'll get to the top. So you need to follow by example, follow those people. Don't go into this kind of like invisible majority group who actually just hold themselves back because they think they're all the same, when actually they're just standing in their own way. Like most people actually stand in their own way. So really remember not to do that.
Yeah, and then also just don't take on other people's limits. Like, what I find absolutely hilarious about podcasting is if you Google how do I make money from a podcast, it tells you all this random shit, like you need 5,000 downloads an episode and like all this really high numbers that only like the really top podcasts reach. Because podcast download numbers are a lot smaller than, if you can't compare it to like YouTube numbers, because it's long form content. So that when people but it's more like when people are hooked into a podcast, when they're listening to a podcast, they are listening to a podcast. It's intentional. It's not like when you're on social media and you're watching a 30-second video. Like you can't compare reach on there versus downloads on a podcast. Like it's a different ball game. But there's so many people that are trying to figure out what is the good amount of downloads, because you can't really benchmark it against anything. You can't see anybody else's downloads. But if you Google like how do I make money, it says like, oh, you need this many downloads, this to get a sponsor. It takes years to start earning any money from your podcast, and that is categorically bullshit. And I've sworn quite a lot in this episode, soz, but it's absolute bullshit. Like it's complete lies. Like when I'm glad that I never looked at that kind of thing.
I did read that, but I never really took it on. I didn't know that they said that though.
Yeah, because I can't remember why I saw it the other day on Google, and and I was literally like, this is an absolute lie. Like all of this is lie. Like there were so many different websites saying different things. It's like none of it's true. Like when you enter the game of podcasting, of business, of anything, you write your own story, you create your own success, you create your own finances. It's up to you. It's absolutely up to you to come up with that money-making ideas. How do you want to make money off your passion? What do you want to do? It's completely up to you. Like, and I just think there'll be probably so many people as well that have been put off pursuing their passions or anything, starting things, because they Google things like that. And I'm sure that podcasting isn't the only thing that says like, you have to have this. Like there'll be loads of other businesses and stuff that you Google and it says how much money does this type of industry make, and you Google it and it'll say like, oh, you have to wait 40 years until you make a profit and all. And like, just, it's not true. Like you write your own story, you create your own success. And that's not been true for us, that you have to have this many downloads, have a sponsor and be able to monetize what you're doing so you can keep doing it. Like it's not true. So also, don't take everything that is on the internet or other people's own experience as gospel, as that's going to happen to you. So you're not even going to try, because you're going to have to wait 4 years to make any money off it. So because it's not sustainable. You can't do something unless it's not like you do it for money, but you can't keep it going without money. You have to pay for the equipment, to pay for your time, to everything. Like you need the money to finance your passions, but there's no reason why you can't monetize them. You can't make money from what you love to do. So don't get sucked into reading things on the internet that say rules about what you need to do before you can make money or make profit on your business or anything. You write your own story, you create your own success, you create your own financial opportunities as well. It's all up to you. Like, why would you want anyone to write the rule books for your life, let alone reading random stuff on the internet? Like,
yeah. I think Yeah, as you said there, a huge thing with that as well is the fact that, especially if it's like maybe like a friend or a family member, more than likely they are saying something out of their own experience and they're not saying it from your experience. And that really bugs me because I feel like sometimes when people will step out of their comfort zone, maybe try something new, maybe they're going to say, I'm going to start a business. And then there'll be someone that will say, oh, but did you know, like, blah, blah, blah. Did you know it's quite hard to make money? Did you know, oh, there's loads of people doing that. And they're just acting from their own insecurity. And it's really annoying because, like, no matter what, sometimes those comments do stay in your head. So you have to be really aware of what people are saying around you because more than likely they are just acting on their own insecurity and maybe subconsciously trying to bring you back down to their level. But then sometimes I feel like they're not doing that. Sometimes they're just literally unaware of what they're saying and they can plant limiting beliefs in you. Like, I feel like lately I've been like reflecting on a lot of things and I thought about like some things that some people have said to me in the past and I thought, why is that stuck with me? Like, you know, like just like a little limiting belief. And now I've realized like they just said that and they will never remember that they said that. Just random little thing. And like they stick with you. So now I'm so aware of it. Like I'm around people and I feel like they're saying something on their own experience that I think is not going to benefit another person. I will literally be like, don't let that bother you because people don't realize, I don't feel like that's spoke about enough, like how much people can talk about their own experience and give advice, which is just not beneficial. Like they're talking from their experience, not your experience. So yeah, if you're starting something new, try and take people's advice, but be very careful where it's coming from. Is it actually coming from an insecurity? And it's more than likely coming from their experience. I think when people start something new, all you have to do it's obviously there's a few things you have to weigh up, but I think just to back someone and just say, I believe in you, like no matter what your idea is, if someone has a vision for something, just say, I believe in you, I back you. Don't start weighing things up and saying, have you seen this? Like stop planting those limiting beliefs, just back someone up.
I think sometimes people are scared to see people they love potentially fail because there's such a fear of failure in our society. Like people are so scared to fail, especially because our lives are very public with how we live on social media. Everybody's life is public. People know where you work, what you do, because you can just go on someone's Instagram and see like what they're doing. So if you're starting a business or a podcast or whatever, you're obviously going to put it on Instagram. How else are you going to market, or so any social media? How else are you going to market what you have if you don't put it out there on the internet? Otherwise no one's going to be able to find your product or whatever it is that you're trying to reach to people with. Not going to be able to find it unless you put it on the internet. So then when it's on the internet, it's got your name attached to it. People know it's yours. So I think people are scared of failure now because we live on this public stage. All of us do. So they're scared that, you know, they're going to look bad, or that, so like say it's a parent like concerned about their child like stepping into the world of entrepreneurship and trying setting up their own business or whatever, that they might fail and then they'll be crushed. You know, they'll get worried that the person they love is going to get upset and hurt by potentially failing, and that you're on this public stage that it's then going to be for everyone to see. Actually, I just think failure is subjective. How can you say you've failed? I don't think you can fail.
No.
You make mistakes and you learn from them. It's up to you when you make the mistake how you move forward. Are you going to learn from it and keep going? Or are you going to give up? Like, it's up to you. You might want to give up. Quitting isn't bad. Like we've had episodes about this before, like the sunk cost fallacy. You can, because you've spent so much time, emotion, money, whatever, investing in something, you can get attached to something that's not actually serving you anymore, isn't working. You need to just step away. Quitting isn't bad. It doesn't mean you failed. Following your intuition and being brave and like maybe walking away from something that isn't right anymore. Someone might say, oh, you failed because you had to close your business, but actually maybe you're ready to move on to a new chapter and you got what you needed out of that, and you realize, actually, I'm better at this, so I'm going to go and set up a business doing this instead. It's not because it went bankrupt and you couldn't do it anymore. Like, there's so many different reasons why you might stop something, but I think that sometimes people can push their own limiting beliefs on you from a place of love because they are scared you might fail. But like I said, failure is subjective. So how do you define it if you fail that? And I just think that fear of failure holds so many people back, and it stops you from taking the leap and doing what is actually going to make you happy. And it doesn't even just mean like with career choices. I know we've been speaking a lot about that, like starting things, but it could just be like going traveling or starting a new hobby, pursuing something like that is going to bring you joy, that you are interested in, love and want to try, but you're scared that, like, you can have a feel of failure around that what if you go travel to this place and you don't like it and you come back and people are like, I thought you were going traveling for a year and you're back after a month. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, who cares what people say? Like, you just got to do what you want to do and never let that fear of failure hold you back. And also, like, I feel like most young people, the people that are going to be expressing concern about what you do might be your friends, but if they are, honestly, they just don't want to see you shine, honey. So you need to get them out of your life, because all your friends should back what you're doing. Unless you're going to go and do something illegal, something really bad and stupid, then yes, a good friend would tell you, I don't think that's a very good idea. But if you want to do something of what you love, start a blog, pursue something. If they're convincing you otherwise, that that's not the right thing to do, and that's something you're interested in and want to pursue and love and feel passionate about, they are not your friend, because your friend would have your back. So don't listen to people like that. But also, I feel like the other people that are going to have a say on what you're doing, like, might be like romantic partner as well, and that's the same thing what I've just said there in friendship. But like, especially for young people, if you still, like, your parents still heavily involved in sort of your life and what you're doing, they might try and make you stop, like I said, to stop you from potentially failing. But also, they grew up in a different generation than us. They didn't have the internet when they grew up. So we have the internet now. We've got a world of opportunities at our fingertips. You can sit in your bedroom and you can build whatever you want from your computer and your phone. They didn't have that. We have so much more opportunity now, and we are so blessed. Our generation of people now, and obviously older people have access to this too. We've all got the internet, but we've all got the internet, but we are blessed to have that, because that gives us endless opportunities to do things. When people aren't jumping on it, I'm like, what are you doing? You are living in prime time. Generations back, not even that far ago, didn't have the opportunities we have today. Why are you not taking advantage of them? So the only other thing that people might hold you back from doing what you love and pushing their limiting beliefs on you is because they didn't grow up with the internet or with these level of opportunities around. So they see the world in a different way because their experience has been different. But so you have to also remember that how they grew up and what they experience is very different to what we have now. And you just need to do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. That is a huge thing. I think people really struggle with that sometimes, the parents and stuff.
Yeah.
Not understanding, but it's so true. They grew up in a completely different generation, and we are moving with the times. And yeah, for sure, with the whole thing about failing, like you said, I don't feel like you can fail, but only you can decide that as well. And if you're being authentic to yourself and you do something and maybe it doesn't succeed in the way you thought it was going to, at least you're being authentic. At least you're doing what you enjoy. You'd rather do that than fake something. And yeah, I've seen so much about that lately, about how people sometimes will try and protect you from their own place of fear. Like in Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers, she talks a lot about that, how our parents are obviously trying to protect us and they're coming from a place of love, but they're pushing their fear onto you. Like, they're trying to protect you and trying to stop you from failing. But like we just said, like, how can you even fail? Like, you're always going to learn a lesson, and you're always, by following your path and doing what's meant for you, like, you're never going to fail. It's authentically for you. But yeah, as you said, people can think, like, again, acting a little bit on their own insecurity and acting from love, thinking, are they going to waste their time? But you just have to really stand in your truth. I think that's when you have to make the decision, like, am I going to listen to what my friends and family are saying, maybe if they are coming with a few negative comments, or am I going to really, really stand in my truth? And you always know inside, because I feel like, for example, like when we started this podcast, like we didn't know what it was going to develop into. We didn't know like the vision for it, but we always like stood in our truth. We always like, oh, this, like, I remember the first episode, we was like, this feels really, really good. Like, this is so fun. But we still didn't know what it was going to develop into, but we had that core, like, deep in us, like, okay, this is fun and this is what I'm going to pursue. So I think if you have that vision for something, just hold your vision, because nobody knows what you're seeing. Nobody knows your vision. Nobody knows what you're feeling, or all these intuitive whispers. They haven't experienced that. They're just trying to protect you and maybe think, when you come with a business idea, they're like, oh, okay, I'll be the analytical brain. Well, have you got this? Have you got the money? When do you start making money? But if you've got a passion deep within you that you want to pursue, then try and just like silence out those noises.
Yeah, because you can always work it out.
Yeah, you don't want them to hold you back. And that they said that, like, literally in that book, it's really good. She literally explains how, like, from childhood, like, even something as simple as parents saying, be safe.
Yeah.
It puts a subconscious belief in us that like we're not protected and that we shouldn't push out of our comfort zones. And there's this whole thing around this like fear of failing. But I think when you look up to huge leaders in this world, they all say the same thing, that failure is so healthy because it helps you realize who you are, like where you're going to guide. Like try and really not be scared of failure because it's just all for growth, really.
Yeah, and how unstoppable will you be if you don't fear failure? Because you're just going to
Exactly.
run headfirst into everything that you actually want to do. Because the only bad thing that can happen, it's not even bad, but let's say, is that you fail, that it doesn't work. But if you're not scared of that, if you're happy to own it, and that's why I really like Gary Vee, because he's very much about that. Like no ego. Like he doesn't, like, people say negative things about him, he doesn't let it in. People say positive compliments to him, he doesn't let it in. He knows who he is, and that's the most important thing. No ego getting in the way. If he loses, he's like, I love losing. I learn, I grow, I love it, and nobody can like rub my loss in my face because I own it. So when you own something, no one can throw it back at you. Like if you're like, yeah, like if you own it, no one can like try and torture you with it, and that comes with everything in life. So if you aren't fearing failure, think about how unstoppable you'll be, because you'll go after what you actually want. You'll go and ask that person out that you fancy and you find them amazing, intriguing. Because if you get rejected, you get rejected. Are you going to die? No. So you just do it, and you start the podcast and 2 people listen to it. I guarantee you more than 2 people would listen. But like, and then you decide, okay, I'm not going to do this, whatever. Like, you've still tried. Like, you just move on to the next thing. And I do genuinely believe that everybody on this earth is here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. We've all got a gift. We've all got something to share, because we've been put on this planet for a reason. We all have to be ourselves. That's why I think it's so important to be authentically you and not try and be anybody else, because you are you for a reason. Everybody needs to just be themselves, because we all harmonize out the world. If we were all the same, the world would be fucked. And if it, like, we all have to be ourselves, because we harmonize out the energy of the world by everyone being different and having different opinions and beliefs and passions, and everyone then has their own community and tribe and places to go to. Like, we have to just be ourselves. We have to just be ourselves. And that's why I think if you have a niggle to do something, it's because you're meant to do it, and you'll figure out how to do it, and you need to just go for it. And if you fail, I honestly think it's just diverting you to a new path. Like, I always think of rejection as just redirection. Like the same way, like when you used to have a podcast, you want to obviously get guests on. We email a lot of people. Not everybody wants to come on the show, and that's absolutely fine. Like you realize later down the line, when the people that say yes, come on, episode's great. And then the people that maybe that didn't want to come on, that didn't get back to you or said, no, I can't. You realize later down the line, as the podcast grows, the brand grows and the values keep moving forward, you realize actually, oh, that person wasn't really aligned at all with this. So there's that's why because if you seen where it got, the podcast brand had got to, you realize actually they're not aligned with what this podcast is. That's actually makes sense that they didn't want to come on. Like everything, I always keep using this affirmation, everything is perfect. So when it comes to things like that, like rejection or anything, you just think everything's perfect. And I don't mean that in like that word that I don't like, spiritual bypassing and toxic positivity. I don't think you can be toxically positive, but I don't mean it as in like, I'm like, oh, something's awful, like somebody really close to me has passed away, everything's perfect. I don't mean that. Like, I don't push away my negative emotions and my sadness and my pain. Like, I feel all of that, but saying to yourself and like trusting in like the universe's plan, and that your life is unfolding perfectly as it's meant to, that everything is perfect, just stops you from going down like a path and a line of thinking of worrying and like anxiousness and overthinking and self-doubt and just not good. So like if somebody says no to you about something, you think everything's perfect, or something doesn't go to plan, everything is perfect, and you're not resisting life either, because you can't control. There's a lot of things in life you cannot control. What you can control is how you feel about it, how you want to react to it, and all the energy starts from within you. So if your energy is everything's perfect, It's all great. You're not resisting things. You're just doing your thing. You're rolling with it. If you get thrown a few snowballs, you can just handle it because everything's perfect. And you're obviously meant to get thrown this snowball, this lesson here to help you grow. Then you're not resisting anything. You're just going to flow through life so much more. And you're just going to feel so much better. So yeah, I feel like I just went on a huge bloody ramble tangent, but I feel like that was quite, inspiring and will probably help people. But yeah, the other thing that we've really realized is like the power of consistency with starting this podcast, because we committed to from the start episode every single Wednesday, and we have put one out every single Wednesday for this whole year, apart from when we went we were a seasoned podcast at first. So we ended like season 1. We had like a few weeks off and then went back to season 2. And then we were like, no, we don't like this. We want to just do it every week. But we never actually were like, oh, let's just miss an episode. I've got nothing to say this week. Like, I've not got time, because there was points when we were working full time as well whilst doing this. Like, that's a lot. Like, we put a lot of hours into producing this podcast, thinking of planning the episodes, researching, then doing the episodes, then editing and putting all the stuff on social media. Like, we put in a lot of work to it, and there's points when we were working full time whilst doing it, but we never stopped being consistent. And consistency in anything that you do in life, that is the key to success. It's not your bubbly personality. It's not your endless, like, amazing talent. It's because people can bring consistency that will beat your talent if you don't have consistency and like with yours. So with anything that you're doing in life, like exercise, meditating, anything, whatever you're doing, consistency is what's going to get you results. And people are afraid to, like, they want the rewards straight away, and they're not willing to be patient and wait and just let things unfold. Like, they want to be at the end goal already. Like, they set themselves out a goal, and they have to go on a journey to get there, of consistency, of work, of putting in the time, of being consistent. And they're impatient and don't want to do that, and they want the end result now. So then when you're setting out on that journey, it's not going to come to you like that. It's going to take time. You have to build things up. You have to have patience. You've got to build, especially if you're like doing a podcast, selling a product, whatever you're doing, you have to build people's trust by showing up consistently so that they get hooked into your content or get engaged with your brand, and then they trust you because you're always there. You're always posting. You're always being consistent. And then that is what's going to get you towards that end goal that you want. But if you have no patience to get there, you'll never, ever get there. And that's what we are, to our own horn, but we are really good at being consistent. We don't miss. We say we'll email you every Monday morning. We don't miss it. We email you every Monday morning. We post on Instagram every single day, put a story on every single day, an episode every Wednesday, and now on a Sunday. We put it on YouTube every week. We do clips on our Instagram every week. Like, all this stuff takes a really long time. We could think, oh, we're a bit busy this week. Let's just sack off that. Let's just not do that. Let's just leave the email this week. Let's not do that. But we don't. We do it all because consistency is the key to succeeding in whatever it is that you want. And you have to be willing to have that patience even when you're getting no results. So what I think is so funny, like, and you hear this from loads of people that have like started a business or anything, like their journey of growth, the spike goes like, if you watch on YouTube, you can see my hands right now, but you go along, it's pretty steady, it's pretty flat, and then you go and it goes up, and then it might go like up again. And like Stephen Bartlett says it about his Instagram, like it took him 300 posts or something to get 10,000, then it took him 50 posts to get to 1 million. Yeah. And what's really funny about our podcast is we were always like grateful for every download. Like, we didn't know what was you can't really define what's good and what's bad, because it doesn't matter. It's about your quality of your audience, how engaged, how valuable is your content, are people actually enjoying it? Like, it's not just about the numbers, but our monthly download numbers stayed the exact same for 9 months. It took us like 9 months to get to a certain podcast number milestone, and then it took us 3 months to do what we did in 9 months. Like, you can't predict when that growth spike's going to come. You have to just keep doing it, and you cannot let those numbers define you. And we had somebody on the podcast who, this episode is coming out before that, but we did the interview with him yesterday, so his interview will be out next week. But he was saying the same thing, like, about his YouTube channel that he's trying to grow. His content on there is so high quality,
It's amazing.
high quality content. It's right up there with what all the top YouTubers do with like the quality of the thumbnail, everything, the editing, and we know how long it takes to edit videos. That he will put a lot of time into that, and he was like, he doesn't get that many views on his stuff yet, but he's not going to stop because that's what he wants, and that's what you have to do. You just have to keep going. So with anything that you want in life, you can have it if you stay consistent, and your patience and how willing you are to be consistent and keep showing up and not getting disheartened by not seeing the numbers you want and comparing yourself to other people. That's what's going to be the difference between you winning versus you not.
Yeah, no, exactly. When you focus too much on the numbers, I think you can stand in your own way, because that's like one thing, like we never, like we were so consistent, but we never ever was like, when are our numbers going up?
No, because we just like, oh, this is
conversation.
amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
we
just kept going, just kept focusing on like the value, what value we're giving people.
Yeah, we were always so grateful, and I think that's what you have to do, because that's like literally what I did my episode on about the just the power of repetition. Like that's literally what everyone says. You have to, like, you can't become great at something, like we said at the start. You can't become great at something if you're not going to keep repeating it and keep practicing within your field. Like you have to stay consistent. And I'm really proud of us that we actually did, like we have posted one every Wednesday, because like you said, like we were actually doing full-time jobs at the start.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people out there do full-time jobs and have like side hustles, and like it's hard. There is a lot of stuff to do. We put full-time hours into this now, if not even more. We put so much into it. So when we were actually juggling that, it was hard, but because we always had that vision within us, and we obviously really loved it, we were always consistent, and I feel like that really paid off. Like you said, you're showing up every day for yourself.
Yeah.
And for your listeners, obviously, like they're seeing how much we are like dedicated to helping you and how many hours we put in. And I think as well, one thing that I have learned this year is to always like learn to like really protect your energy and also be patient with yourself. Because for example, like obviously we're doing this podcast, it's a positivity podcast, and honestly, like we are like high vibe like almost all the time. Like we are, because we actually like, I can stand there, I know you can too, and say that I dedicate my time to feeling good. I am dedicated to my meditation, my journaling, my working out, because I want to feel good, and I know that within myself. So I do feel good a lot of the time. Obviously, things happen in life, you can get upset, but most of the time I do feel really good.
Yeah.
But things still happen in life, and sometimes you have to let yourself feel them. You have to let yourself be sad. You don't know what people are going to do. And throughout the year, like we've not been high all the time, because that's absolutely impossible. But I feel like what I've really learned this year is to be patient with yourself, and sometimes just really give yourself that time, because you're not always going to feel like on top of the world. Like especially with stuff like podcasting, like you're giving a lot of your energy to the people, which feels really, really good for us, and it's really, really fun. Hence why we're sat here. But sometimes if you don't have that energy within you, it's quite hard to just perform. And you don't always have to perform. That's the thing. You have to remember that you're only human. So if you are starting something new and you think, well, I don't know, I've not always got the energy for it. Some days I love it, some days I don't like it so much. If you feel like it's in your soul's purpose and like deep in your intuition, you know you want to do it, then just be patient with yourself. You're not always going to feel on top of the world. You're not always going to feel like you want to throw everything into it. But as long as you keep consistent and always hold that vision that you know you want to do this, you'll be absolutely fine. You don't have to be 10 out of 10 all the time, but definitely dedicate yourself to feeling 10 out of 10 all the time, because that is what we do. And we do most of the time. But yeah, definitely learn that, the power of patience and consistency with yourself.
Because like we've all got lives, things happen in your life.
Exactly.
You know, people you love get ill, or things happen, and you're not going to be like, oh, this is so sick, this is perfect. As I just said, everything's perfect. You're not going to feel like that all the time, and that is normal. That's human. That's a human experience. But yeah, generally your vibration's generally pretty high because you dedicate yourself to the meditation, all these self-development tools that help you feel good. Then when things do go wrong, you can handle it and you can move through it quicker. But I think like just the world of social media and stuff makes it seem that if you're not 100% every day, if you're not buzzing all the time, if you're not hustling hard every day, then there's something wrong with you. But it's not. Like, I love that quote, nothing in nature blooms all year round. And it's the same with us. Like, you dip and drop, like dip and, you know what I mean, up and down through your life, because that's what the human experience is. So yeah, 100%. Like, you've got to just, as long as you just still staying consistent though and still keeping the vision, you just don't push through that, oh, I've got to be on top form every single day for this to work. As long as you, it's all about small results and marginal gains. It's not like you have to put a little bit in every day, and that's what adds up compound interest. But yeah, consistency is literally key, and I'm proud of us. for staying so consistent. Because even when we had full-time jobs, there was times when like we'd recorded an episode, the audio, for some reason, like something wrong with the microphones, it went horrible. We recorded like an hour-long interview, then we realized, oh my god, it sounds awful. It was a Sunday night, we're then going back to work on Monday, the episode needs to be out for Wednesday, and we were like, it's like 10 o'clock.
I had to come back from work that day.
Yeah, because I think you finish and work late. Yeah, you're working late and then come back, and it was literally like 10 o'clock at night. We had to redo the episode, and then you got to edit it. And there was times when we were doing things scrappy and last minute, because that's what it's all about when you're chucking things together at first. And you just do it anyway.
Yeah, it's all fun and games at the end of the day. As long as you enjoy it as well, nothing's that hard work, is it?
Yeah, and that's yeah, exactly. And like when so many people set out like big goals and stuff, but there's no point in any of it if you're not going to enjoy the journey, the process, and all. Like we absorb, enjoy, and take in every minute of this journey. Like because I'm sure that one day we'll have a nice podcast studio with bougie equipment and everything. But right now, we absolutely love, like we loved it when we started with our £30 microphones that we got from Argos that sounded awful. And we sat under a desk and put a blanket over our head and used to sit squished under a desk. Like, it's so uncomfortable just to try and make the sound better through our rubbish microphones.
I literally nearly got stuck in the desk once because I was inside the desk, like trying to make the sound better. I was like, Grace, I can't move.
Yeah, and now look, now I've upgraded to better microphones where we don't have to sit in a little tunnel of darkness in the corner of our rooms. Like, but even when we did that, we loved it. What we're doing now, like recording just with our iPhones and stuff like that for the videos, absolutely love it. Like, but you love every part of it, and we'll love it when we get to the top and we've got our studio and all things like that. But what's the point in trying to get to that end bit where you're like the next Joe Rogan or whatever, and you've got like a big bougie studio and all these people that work with you on it? What's the point in that if you're not going to enjoy all the things leading up to it? Like, exactly. What, like, because that's what it's all about, is now. And
it's about the journey. I feel incredibly blessed. I feel so emotional today. Like, I just feel like we've had such an emotional day.
Yeah, because today we've been recording the episode that I think by the time this one comes out, it's already come out. Yeah, when this one comes out, the Finders anniversary episode is coming out a few days after.
All right.
So yes, we are feeling emotional today because we've recorded with the Finders, with 3 Finders that are coming on the next podcast episode for the 1-year anniversary episode. So it's just been nostalgic.
Yeah, it has.
But on the topic of Finders and talking to them, what is another thing that I've realised, and this will be like our final point to wrap up the episode, is like how many amazing people there are in the world, and the power of connecting with a tribe of like-minded people. You guys and all of our guests that come on as well, like all these people, like we've made so many new friends.
Yeah, we have,
through the internet. Like, it's in a year, and it's amazing. And everyone that's in our group chat, and they're all friends. I feel like they're all my mates. Like, it's amazing, and just how much better your life is when you surround yourself with like-minded people is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like you can always find your tribe. Like, even if you feel alone, like, your tribe are out there. And I feel like that's what we've done. We found our tribe, and it's so fun. And I also, like I just said, I feel so blessed that we can connect with people like that. Because, like, for example, today we did the Finders anniversary, and it was so nice to speak with you. And then also yesterday we had 2 amazing interviews, and we were just like absolutely buzzing, and we still are now, because it's like, I just feel incredibly blessed that we can connect with these people. But anyone can do that. Like, whatever field you're in, you can always reach out to people. Like we said, the power of the internet. People are out there, and people want to learn. People want connection. They want to talk to you. So don't feel alone. Like, you can find your tribe, and when you do, it's like such a beautiful feeling. Yeah,
and also just like the power of learning from other people is what I've really learned this year, because we have obviously been so honoured to interview some really, really incredible people in the wellness world who are doing amazing things, and for us to sit there and get to ask them whatever we want to ask them and pick their brains has had such a huge effect on our own personal growth. And what we've learned. So, but that just shows you don't need to have a podcast to do that, though, because you tune into everybody else's podcast, you get the same value from that conversation. And actually, just how impactful it is to just learn from other humans and like their own, how they view the world, their own experience. Like, you can always learn from other people. And that's one of the other amazing things about this year.
Yeah. There's just too much. We could go on forever, because there's honestly so much amazingness that's come out this year. But wow, I just want to say I feel incredibly blessed.
Yeah, and we're very, very, very grateful for all of you guys that tune in every week, all the loyal finders that come back every single Wednesday and a Sunday to listen to us and message us, tell us what you think about the show, you share it on your Instagrams, all that stuff. Like, it never goes unnoticed. Like, and it honestly means the world to us, and it will forever. Like, you know, when some people, I'm not saying we're going to become like next Justin Bieber or something, but you know, when like things get bigger, some people stop connecting as much with who, like, messages and who's like, I don't know, maybe we'll get to a point where our DMs are crazy, I don't know. But it will never, we'll always try and stay as connected as we can to the audience. I really don't see the point in doing anything where you're putting out content if you're not going to speak to who's listening to it. Like, I don't get it. Like, you want to speak to who is, like, I want to know who's listening. I want to talk to them, I want to connect with them. So honestly, like, all your support over the last year has never, ever, ever gone unappreciated. Ever. Like, every message, every like, we see all of, like, everyone, and we recognize everybody who is always on Instagram talking to us, commenting, whatever. Like, remember all your names, like, know your face, and you come to a workshop and I feel like I know you, and I just, it'll never, ever, ever go unappreciated. So just a big thank you to you guys as well for giving us a platform to learn everything we've just told you we've learned and share with you what we love, which is amazing.
Huge thank you. We literally love you, and I've just thought, now imagine how exciting it's going to be for our second year anniversary.
What's going to happen next year?
Like,
it's
where
crazy.
are we going to be?
The world will be more opened up. Like, I feel like lockdown's not going, I think it's crossed,
so
it's not going to come back. But where could you be in a year?
Yeah, this is about you.
Are you going to start doing what you love? Are you going to start your Smurfs blog? Are you going to stop listening to your negative friend who's telling you that you're going to fail and that 1 in, or whatever it is, do you know that 9 out of 10 businesses fail? Like, all those stupid statistics that they were backed up. Who cares? Are you gonna succumb to reading Google when it tells you that you need 10 million downloads on an episode to monetize your podcast? Are you gonna listen to that, or are you just gonna follow your heart, follow what you're passionate about, do what you love, trust in yourself that you know you can make it work? If it means something to you, you can make it work. You might be crap at first. That's what we were happy with, being crap at first. We literally said that the first few episodes might be a bit awful, but whatever, you got to start somewhere. And if you're willing to do that, where are you going to be in a year? So I think you're probably going to be somewhere pretty amazing, and you're probably going to be a lot happier than you are right now, because life is about doing what you love.
For sure. I remember on our first episode, I'll never forget when you kept saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that's always stuck with me. It's so true. Rome wasn't built in a day. So whatever you're going to start, you may not be amazing at the start, but you will get there with the power of consistency.
I'm just remembered, now you just said that, it's made me remember when we first went to record, and like we went over and did it a million times because we couldn't get our words out. Do you remember how, like, we were like, how do we introduce the episode? How do we say who we are? And we like went and tried it again and again and again and again, and we kept not being able to do it, and we were like, just keep going, let's just keep going. And then, like, you'd say something like, I sound like a weirdo. Like, honestly, I would love to listen to like the recording
the one before. And then the first one, we sat there and listened to the full thing together. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, on FaceTime we listened back to the whole episode together. Obviously we don't do that now. Oh, it's so funny. So yeah, just thank you guys. And if you could get anything from this podcast, like not just this episode, but our podcast in general, is to do what you love. Like, that's what I always want to see people doing, is doing what they love, because they will do well at it and it will make them so happy, and not to be scared. So I want, if you take anything from us, take that and do it and believe in yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And then come and tell us what you've done, so we can celebrate you.
Yeah, spread the love.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for listening, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed Reflect, and I always enjoy a good reflect.
Yeah, it's nice to, and I hope that you've all enjoyed reflecting, because you've all been part of it.
Yeah.
And hope you can learn some things from our learnings. But yeah, thank you for joining us over the last year, and thank you for joining us today. And if you have only just recently joined the community, you've not been here for a full year, welcome. You're in for a treat. Join us on the ride. But yeah, thank you for listening. You know what to do. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit subscribe. so you never miss an episode. Release them every single Wednesday and on Sunday. And if you're listening on Spotify, hit follow so you always get all of our episodes like notified and downloaded straight to your phone when you subscribe. And if you want to leave us some feedback, if you've loved this podcast, if you've got value out of us, we'd really appreciate if you left us a review on Apple Podcasts, because we just love getting your feedback and it really helps the show grow if we've got some more like good reviews on there. So we love to read them out at the beginning of the episode. They mean so much to us. So if you want to be featured in Review of the Week next week, just leave us a review and we will read yours out at the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah, for sure. And if you heard anything within this episode and you thought, oh, that's such a penny drop moment for me, or I'm going to actually go and pursue my dream now, then please send this to a friend who you think also needs to hear it, because that is how we get our message out. That's how we've grown over the last year. So we're so grateful for that, not just for you, but for every time you tell a friend. So please go and do that if you did have one of those moments. And also within this episode, we was talking about the power of affirmations. You know how much we love them. Meditations, affirmations. You can head to our website if you do want to buy our own meditations and affirmations that we've recorded and planned ourselves. We love them. We listen to them all the time and we're huge advocates for them. They are life-changing. So you can head to findyourfeetpodcast.com if you do want to check those out.
Yes. And if you want to join our community, come and follow us on Instagram at Finding Your Feet Podcast. That's where you'll find us every single day of the week. We're always on there, always messaging, always replying to comments, always posting. We're very, very active on Instagram. So we love chatting to you guys on there. So please do come and join our community. Don't be shy. Come and chat to us on Instagram. We've left the link in the show notes. And if you want to join our mailing list, as we said, we email every Monday without fail. And there's no spam. It's not annoying marketing. It's literally just like a positive, wisdom-filled email, like a download from the soul, what we've been thinking about over the last week, what we've learned. It's different to what we put on podcasts and what we put on Instagram. So it's everyone loves the emails. We always get really good feedback. So if you want to sign up to our mailing list to receive our emails on a Monday morning, start your week off on the right foot, get you in the vibe, get you feeling positive, just subscribe in the link in our show notes and you'll be on our list and you can receive the magic. But if you're listening on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, like, comment so that you never miss our episodes, and comment what you thought. And if you're listening on audio but you'd like to watch, we do put all of our big main episodes, the big main Wednesday ones, we put them on YouTube. So you can subscribe on there. The channel name is Finding Your Feet, the podcast. The channel is linked in the show notes as well. So you can come join our YouTube community and watch them. Because sometimes people like to watch, feel like you're really there in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. We always have a lot of hand movements going on as well, so it's always fun to watch.
A lot of passion going on.
Yeah.
Especially today.
Yeah, there was a lot of moving about.
But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Happy 1 year anniversary. And look out for the episode that's coming out in a few days with all the finders on it, because it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys. We love you and we'll see you next time.
Bye.